It's time to bring sexy back. And yes, I'm dating myself. I am a JT lover. Regardless, we are bringing sexy back to systems. And having a business that can be totally systematized is incredibly sexy. When it's running efficiently, you have a life, and you're making great money. Welcome, I'm Sandra Funk, and this is Design Sips, where we'll raise a glass to think tank how your business can be more full of joy, balance, and abundance. And I can't wait to dive into all of your questions. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, so Anna says, how can I work on multiple projects that are all so different without being completely exhausted by the end?
Anna, I feel you. So early in my career, I felt like that guy with the sticks and the plates just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and right? I know where you are. I feel you. I have been there. The bottom line is you need to define your process, clearly outline it, document all of it, every last little bit. Then you need to look at that process and you need to make sure that it is efficient, that it is the right task is in the right order, that there are no duplications of efforts, and that the right person on your team, or if it's you are doing the right task. So the right person is doing the right task in the right order, no duplication of efforts, efficiency, 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 right? This is how you go from running around fighting fires to having a business that you can count on, that you know exactly what the next step is, that you could delegate or explain to your team and have it become systematic. This is where you go from running around crazy to having a business that's thriving.
Absolutely. And you once said, when you systematize your process, you can focus on being more creative and letting your project sing.
Oh, 100%. So again, when you get your systems locked down, you have more time for that creative brilliance that you bring to the table, right? We are all creative beings who came to this career out of love and passion, right? No one ever said to you, you should go get a design degree, just, for safety's sake. Definitely not, right? We are here because we love design. We are creative beings. We love to help people have gorgeous homes. So when we can use the other side of our brain to get our systems locked down, we can truly give ourselves more freedom for creativity, more time to be creative. It is the hard work that pays off year after year after year. It literally will change your business and it will change your life.
100%. So Sandra, why we're in such a digital age right now, sticky note method just won't cut it. How do you keep your process organized?
Yeah, the sticky note days. I remember walking into my studio one day and a team member had sticky noted her whole desk space, up and down the sides of the computer, all across the front. And I was like, Designer A, please join me in my office. Let's have a little chat. We have a system. We have a clearly defined process. There's a way and a method. What's going on with the damn sticky notes? So it is, I get it. It's second nature to just start making yourself notes and lists and sticky notes and whiteboards, and things are getting crazy, right? But how are you going to remember all that? And how at the end of the day are you going to leave work at work and go home and be restorative, be present with your family, right? If you are spending your time being overwhelmed at work, we know we drag that back home into our personal life, right? We drag that into our 3 a.m. wake up when we're like, oh my gosh, did I remember to? Did I forget to? Did I remember to? And how in the world are those sticky notes in the right order, efficiently, not duplicating efforts, and the right person is doing the right tasks? No freaking way, okay? My systems are all clearly defined, step by step by step. And I love Asana, love Asana. It's a task management system. The basic level is free, and trust me, I think we ran our business on the basic level for 12 years before we upgraded to the pro level. First time we spent money on Asana. And so you can really use this program for free for a long time, deep and wide. It is incredible. You can define everything that's going on. You can bounce tasks back and forth between team members. Team members upload or onboard to it quite easily. It takes a little learning curve, but not much. And then once you get into it, it's so funny because then I find team members are they're running their life off of it. Like for me, my whole damn life is in that thing. Like where we're going, what we're doing, travel coming up, who needs to drop this off, what's happening when. I run everything through that Asana. I love it, love it, love it. There are tons of task management systems. You don't have to use that specific one. If you're already attached to one, you just need to get your systems into a program that is repeatable, flexible, and then allows you to grow over time with a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Monday.com, Trello, lots of options out there.
Tons of options. It doesn't have to be Asana. It's just the current level fare that I'm having.
We wish we got affiliate link referrals commission.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? We love them hard, but there's no affiliate in that. That's just straight love.
Yes.
Straight love.
What I love about a process is when an issue arises, you have a baseline to go back to tweak and fix. And I thought of a story. Remember when we lost a key to a client's house? And do you remember what you did so that we never lost a key again?
Yes. Okay. So, and also, we lost the key to a client's house.
Okay, it ended up being under a piece of paper in a company.
It was not gone. We did not they are not being robbed as we speak by someone who stole their key from our house, but it got misplaced. So that's the beauty. Okay, when you have a system and there's an error in the system or you find a glitch, which we all do, and certainly over 20 years of being in business, lots of glitches have bubbled to the surface, right? But when you have a system, you not only solve the problem in the moment, you go back to the system and you correct it. So in this moment, we got online and I ordered these big orange rubber luggage tags, right? And a whole slew of them. I have one on my luggage right now. And we wrote the client's name on it and then our business card on the back side, and every key had this big ass orange rubber tag. Unlosable, people. And we systematized where that key was to be stored. So it was never a question of where's the blah, blah, blah key. We know where the key is and it's unlosable with this humongous orange rubber tag. See? Systems saved us and they can save you too. I love them.
Yeah, and that's going even further of in your process that's documented. In the very beginning, ask the client for key, add luggage tag to key, store in appropriate place. So you don't have to think.
No thoughts. And also, when the delivery is scheduled and they have an abrupt, I have to, turns out there's a field trip, turns out there's a thing, I have this client meeting. That last minute, I can't be there, and by the time, you've built trust and they're like, can you just do the delivery, on my behalf? You just set that up from the beginning so that you're like, it's no problem, I have the key. I got you, right? We will take the delivery, everything is good. But you set that up from the very beginning once you've learned that lesson over the years. And then that translates to every little detail. Every little detail is set up all the way back from the beginning. And then when you're thinking about things systematically, it's not just don't forget to ask for a key. When is the appropriate time? When have you built enough trust that it's time for the key? We don't need the key in the very, very beginning when we're getting to know the client. That's not the time to ask for a key, right? We need a key before a delivery starts, when we've already had our big meetings and we've built trust, and there's a perfect place for everything. And when you step back and you look at it that way, you really can make a smooth and beautiful process. And it's worth it. It's worth the effort to do that. That said, if you cannot spend the time to document your processes, I have them all documented, all ready for you. So do let me know if you would like my systems all documented and tied up with a bow, because they are available. You can have them.
They can be yours.
It can be yours. Just let me know. Let me know.
Well, cheers to all these hacks that you're sharing.
Cheers to systems, because they can be sexy. They are crazy sexy when you start sleeping through the night, making great money, being able to delegate the bits and bobs of the system that really aren't your jam, right? And you can keep more of the beautiful creative work, and you can delegate out the follow-up and the key tagging. You do you.
Subscribe if you're liking these tips that she's sharing. And the next question is, Gail asks, Sandra, how is your design process structured? So if you could share the importance of phases, why you even decided to phase out your process, and then high level, just like the names.
Sure. Okay, so how is our design project structured? So we have really clearly defined phases because it really helps the client understand where we are and where we're going. So this is always putting myself in my client's shoes and trying to think through, how are they going to feel about the design process? How are they going to understand where we are in the process? How much longer we have to go? What comes first, second, and third, right? So when you really put yourself in your client's shoes, it's clear that you need some things that you can communicate like openly. So we start with our potential client process. That's the whole, they're reaching out, they've got a project, they're interviewing designers, right? Yay. Then we move into we go into onboarding, right? We sign that agreement and we onboard that client, getting all that new information. That is part of conceptual design. Conceptual design is big picture. We're trying to make sure that we totally understand that client. We're getting the layout right, the aesthetic direction, and a high-level budget, right? We price our projects at the very beginning in the potential client process, but I reconfirm that budget and the details of it in conceptual design. Once we have full approval on all of those beautiful things, we move on to detail design. That's where every little detail is hashed out. Every fabric sample, every finish sample, every strike off that we need, the CFAs are approved, and every proposal down to freight and tax is completely hashed out, okay? That concludes with a great big beautiful meeting where we show them all of their design and all of their proposals. Once those proposals are paid, 100% in full, upfront, freight and tax included, we go into purchasing and execution. This is where we really make the magic happen. We always make it way worse before we make it better, right? We basically trash the place only to resurrect it into the beauty that we've designed. And then we go into project wrap-up. That is when the project is done and we are making sure that they understand the warranties, they understand the care guides, we're gonna request a testimonial and Google review and that they become a referral source. We are going to be photographing that job, giving them a little wrap-up present, and staying in touch because this happy client is going to be an incredible referral source going forward. Da-da-da. And then we start it all over again with the next client and the next project. Cheers to that.
Cheers. And it really is repeatable. I know so many people object and feel like all their projects are different, but that's a whole nother story or episode on your ideal client.
Yes, exactly. It is a repeatable, beautiful process. And it becomes more and more fun and more about the creativity and the design because we don't worry about the execution and the details anymore because they are so clearly defined.
So if you have phases or need phases, comment below.
Yeah, let me know. Are your phases the same? Are you like, ooh, I like that conceptual design to just confirm we're on the right track before I dig in deep on detail, right? That's a big one.
Okay, and our last question, which I love, Rebecca asks, how do you stand firm with a client who wants to bend your structure?
Ooh. Those who want to tell you how to run your design firm instead of rolling with the process you've clearly defined. Okay, number one, find them during the potential client process. Do not wait to have these conversations until after they've signed on to be your client. You want to make sure that in your potential client process, you are literally walking them through what I just said about my phases. Make that your own, your phases, how you call them, how you structure them. Make sure that you are talking your potential clients through that detail by detail and make sure that they are on board, understand, and have clarity around the fact that you own this business and you are the expert who has run a design project numerous times. Therefore, you are going to be setting up the structure of how this business will run. You are also setting boundaries and expectations, two of my very favorite things, right? Boundaries in that the number of revisions, the number of meetings, how often you can be expected to be on site, like all communication standards and styles, right? And then expectations. This is how often you'll hear from me. This is how often you'll see me. This is how long this project should take, right? When we give clear boundaries and expectations and we make sure that we say them face to face, right? They're in writing in our contract. they are signed off on, and they are reminded, right? Do not think that someone is going to read a contract or have a conversation about it with you once, 18 months ago, and remember the details of the boundaries and expectations that go into this relationship on the day when all the stress is arising because the house is gutted and the contractor is late and da-da-da-da-da. You have to remind them of your structure throughout the project. And in my process, I have that layered in, right? There's an email confirming the detailed design meeting that also reminds them that they have one round of revision, due in 1 week, communicated at one time. That is a boundary and an expectation clearly defined from the beginning and reminded when appropriate. That is so crazy important, right? They don't have a photographic memory. Maybe they do, probably not, right? So don't assume that they do. And just because you remember how your business works doesn't mean that they do. So explain it to them, get total buy-in, and then remind them along the way. And when a client says, actually, I need you to do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 on this timeline at blah, 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 right? You just are reminding them of the agreement that you've already made. Actually, I don't work on weekends, blah, 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 blah. Or actually, we've already used our one round of revision. Any additional revisions will cost you additional fees and more time added to the project timeline, right? It is just a reminder of the boundaries and expectations you've already set together. This is huge. When we set this up from the beginning, we are not in reactivity. We are responding to a request with predetermined ways of working together that we've set together, right? There's no friction, there's no angst, there's no drama. We're just saying, actually, we've already used our one round revision. Do you want me to send you a design fee and an updated timeline to incorporate more revisions? And often they'll go, oh, no, you know what? I think we're good. Because they don't want to make it longer or more expensive either. But it's a simple container that when you hold to that, when you stand in your space, when you hold to that container, you're very much respected and appreciated. And you're just being matter of fact. You're just telling them the facts. And that is such an important place to get to. I remember when I just winged it and thought everything was going to be fabulous, and then there was a difficult conversation or a difficult situation, it would throw me into a 3-week tailspin of griping about it and talking about it and going to my coach and talking about it and complaining in our team meetings about it and drafting emails and then sending them to friends and then being like, girl, you're nasty. Like, that's nasty. You are not sending that email. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much emotion around something that could have been so simply handled from the very beginning, right? And the clients don't mean anything by it. They're like, if you're not going to tell me how this is going to go, when I'm going to see you next, what's going to happen next, then they'll tell you, right? If you're not giving them clarity and communication, they're just going to say, this is kind of wishy-washy. I'm going to try to get some structure in place, right? They're not trying to be mean. It's like a child who needs discipline. They just want to know what's next and what's coming. And a lot of our clients, mine have always been super strong type A go-getters, like real serious badasses. And so if I didn't tell them how it was going to go down, their nature is to step in and take over. It's just the nature of the beast, right? So when I started to actually own the structure and communicate it, this evaporates because they trust me that I've got it. Does that make sense? Or am I just rambling? Let's drink champagne and think about it.
You're giving me so much to work off of, but I want to talk about a couple things. So the distilling your design agreement down to a beautiful presentation, the sales presentation, which is also our free module in the standard. Why is that visual so important?
Oh my gosh. So this presentation, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure we can pop a link somewhere. Mm-hmm. Link coming to you. This presentation changes everything. There are visual learners, audio learners, there are other learners. There are people, everyone has different learning styles. So basically, this is not obviously my forte, but basically, when you do this presentation, which I have this beautiful module that like walks you through it step by step, and actually is a video of me presenting to my potential clients. You can really see how it works in action live. When you present the boundaries and expectations around working with you in a visual and also talking it through personally presentation, it sinks in at a completely different level than sending a contract over and thinking that your potential client is going to read it, because they will not. The only potential clients that read through a multi-page legal document are the lawyers, and then you have to decide, do you want a lawyer as your client? You do you. Maybe you do. Maybe like you have this amazing lawyer niche, or maybe you're like, no, I do not. Anyway, those are the only people that actually read contracts that you send via email. It is the worst possible way to start off a business relationship. You need to meet with them, Zoom or in person, and you need to walk them through step by step how you work. And this visual presentation where you also are talking it through, it gives them, again, the visual learners, the audio learners where somebody needs to talk it through, and then you're also following it up with an actual copy of the contract. So the people that are the people who need to highlight and underline and read it through can do that as well. It's the trifecta of making sure that it actually sinks in and that you're actually heard. Because when we're just like, want, people are like, oh gosh, what's for dinner? Are the kids home yet? What's happening? Like, you're usually in their home on a Tuesday evening after a long day of work, when the kids are coming and going from practices and the dinner needs to be made and served, and people are very, very done with decision making by that time in the day. So when we can get them visually, it's really, really important, and engage them fully with a conversation. A game changer.
And a great way to flex on your portfolio images,
Yes.
as filler images, and also, I can't remember the other point. But
Yes,
like,
that is one of the big ones. Is in this presentation, all the imagery in the presentation is my current best portfolio images, right? So you tell them that, like, oh, all the images in this are my work. And so as they're going through it, they're seeing your beautiful work. You're talking to them articulately. You're explaining clearly when you're gonna show up, how you're gonna show up, what you're gonna do for them. Like, it is such a feel-good, beautiful experience. And then my favorite part is the entire experience, you're having them visualize what it's going to be like to work with you in your firm. So when you talk about that, you're like, and then we'll come back here to my office, or, then I'll meet you here in your home, and I'll bring all the samples and we'll go through every detail. And that's when I'll have proposals by room for you to sign off on. That's when I'll be collecting the money. You can wire, you can this, you can that. Like, you're really walking it through with them. They fully understand, and they're seeing that gorgeous portfolio throughout the night. When they're visualizing working with you, they're seeing the videos. It's this whole attraction, right? What is it?
Magnetism.
Magnetism. So basically, when they visualize working with you to this level, you're taking them really through an experience of seeing themselves work with you. At the end of this presentation, when you say, I think this would be an amazing collaboration. Are you open to working together? Should we go ahead and sign this agreement? They are so much more likely to say yes than if you were to email them a legal document and say, I'd love to work with you. What's the next step? How does this work? What does it look like? I don't have a vision of what this looks like. When you lay out a vision, you are so much more likely to get a yes. And a yes in the moment, even from them. It is literally a total and complete game changer. My closing rate when I send an email to a client is 0. Let me say that one more time. When I email a proposal to a potential client, my close rate is 0. When I meet with them in person and walk through this presentation, right? My closing rate is incredible. I don't know what it is. I don't know that we've calculated it. My goal is also not to close more clients, but to close the right clients. And those that can't jump on board, I'm like, ooh, crisis averted. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So
I don't even know what topic we're on anymore because I've gone on 500 tangents. But cheers to that. Hopefully it's been helpful. Let me know.
Design Tips is all about the tangents. That's what they're here for. That's what I'm here for, at least.
And the wine.
And the wine. And so I wanted to also say our members were having issues with sit testing with their clients. And I think we had it in our contract, but Sandra was like, okay, if this is a recurring issue, we got to put it in the sales presentation. So even minor things like that.
Exactly. So our standard membership is over 800 members strong as of 2024, just in case you're watching this video in like 2028. And when I hear feedback like clients really want to sit in the furnishings, we not only make sure that we clearly define that in our potential client process, in our design agreement, but we make sure that it's in that presentation, that we say, listen, we buy to the tray only, wholesale goods from vendors across the United States and the country, not the country, that would be the United States, the world. You may not be able to see the physical piece before it needs to be ordered for your home. And, we need to talk that through, that we go to market, we sit test, we work with vendors that are reliable and consistent, right? All of that needs to be a conversation. And it needed to be added to our potential client presentation because it was something that couldn't just be slid under the rug in a little addendum in an agreement. It needed to be agreed upon, eyeballs to eyeballs, face to face, visually discussed, all of it. And it's incredible because that issue is just like poof, it's gone, right? If someone's like, no, I could never order furnishings without sitting in them, then they are not your client unless you have a design center nearby and feel comfortable, taking a client, all the things, right? You do you, but knowing these stops way ahead of time is everything.
Yeah, setting those expectations up front so you don't have to react 6 months down the road and feel weird because you got to tell a client no and all that.
Right, or you have to fly to High Point, just kind of major obstructions to be able to sit and think sometimes. So yeah, knowing is the battle. It's not half the battle, it's the battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so those phases of my design process, I go even more in depth on them. Check it out. All right, that's it. Design Sips is over. I'm almost out of champagne and I'm definitely out of tips. I'll see you next time. Cheers.